The question brought to the text is this: YHWH, explain in detail the final outcome of the Iran, Persia, and Elam war. The lead verse drawn first is Luke chapter 2, verse 25. And see, there was a man in Jerusalem whose name was Simeon, and the same man was covenant faithful and devout, waiting for the consolation of Israel, and the sacred Spirit was upon him. Before a single word about war appears, the draw opens with waiting. Simeon stands in Jerusalem, not commanding armies, not issuing decrees, but waiting. He is covenant faithful, Spirit-anointed, and his eyes are fixed on the consolation of Israel. The first word the draw speaks to the question of Persia and Elam is this: the faithful do not seek deliverance in the greatness of an army. They wait upon the Spirit. Every subsequent verse about kings, bows, thrones, and spoil must be read through this frame. YHWH alone sets thrones and removes them. Only one verse in the entire 100-verse draw names Persia directly. Ezra chapter 9, verse 9. Because we were bondmen, yet our Elohim has not forsaken us in our bondage, but has extended goodness to us in the sight of the kings of Persia, to give us a reviving, to set up the house of our Elohim, and to repair the desolation thereof, and to give us a wall in Judah and in Jerusalem. This verse does not speak of Persia destruction. It speaks of goodness extended in the sight of Persian kings. YHWH works through Persian rulers as instruments of his covenant purpose. The outcome of the Iran war is not merely military defeat. It is the stage upon which YHWH demonstrates his sovereignty over the kings of Persia, using their overthrow to accomplish his purposes for his people. The draw speaks repeatedly to the destruction of military might. Psalms chapter 33, verse 16. The king is not saved by the greatness of an army. A strong man is not rescued by great strength. 1 Samuel chapter 2, verse 10. The adversaries of YHWH will be broken to pieces. Out of the skies will he thunder upon them. Luke chapter 11, verse 22. But when a stronger one than him will come upon him and overcome him, he takes from him all his armor in which he trusted and divides his spoils. 1 Chronicles chapter 12, verse 2. They were armed with bows and could use both the right hand and the left in shooting arrows out of a bow. The bow is the specific symbol of Elamite military power. The prophet Jeremiah declares, "I will break the bow of Elam, the chief of their might." The current reality mirrors this precisely. United States forces struck 90 targets across Iran on July 8, hitting air defense systems, missile storage, and naval assets. Iran and Elam bow, its missile arsenal, drone fleet, and naval forces has been systematically stripped. The stronger one has come upon the armed man and taken his armor. The draw contains an extraordinary cluster of verses about the death and replacement of rulers. 1 Kings chapter 16, verse 28. So Omri rested with his forefathers and was buried in Samaria, and Ahab his son reigned in his stead. 1 Samuel chapter 16, verse 1. How long will you mourn for Saul, seeing I have rejected him from reigning over Israel? 1 Kings chapter 1, verse 18. Adonijah reigns, and now my master the king does not know about it. 1 Chronicles chapter 11, verse 3. David made a covenant with them in Hebron before YHWH, and they anointed David king over Israel. The pattern is unmistakable. One ruler dies and is buried. Another is appointed, sometimes by divine command, sometimes by self-assertion. The supreme ruler of Iran was killed in the initial strikes on February 28th. After a 40-day mourning period, he was buried on July 9th. His successor inherited the title but has made no public appearance. The regime is split between pragmatists steering toward negotiations and hardliners accusing them of treachery. This is the Adonijah moment. One reigns while the true authority is absent. The prophet declares, "I will set my throne in Elam, and will destroy from there the king and the princes." The king has been struck down. The princes are divided. The retaliation has been the widest of the entire ceasefire era, striking across 5 nations with no coherent strategy. This is scattering, the 4 winds dispersed. Luke chapter 17, verse 37. Wherever the body is, there will the eagles be gathered together. The adversaries gather like eagles wherever the weakened body is exposed. Exodus chapter 33, verse 23. And I will take my hand away, and you will see my backside, but my face shall not be seen. Iran and Elam enriched uranium for 140 kilograms, remains unaccounted for, moved before the strikes, concealed from inspectors. This hidden treasure is the body that draws the eagles, the great powers circling, unable to locate, unable to ignore. The mathematical verdict is leaning yes, probably affirmative. The probability of yes is 95.4%. The probability of no is 4.3%. The claim is strong anomaly, all gates pass. The triple convergence standard, identity, inheritance, and priesthood, fires at 6.23 sigma. Discovery level, nearly 10 times the baseline expectation. The guided draw detection indicator is extreme anomaly. The probability this draw arose from random chance is approximately 1 in 31 million. The convergence confidence index is 88% with all 6 channels active, threshold crossed. The polarity balance index is leaning yes, covenantal favor. The numbers amplify the text. The Father is not speaking only about the fall of a regime. He is speaking about the full covenant architecture that the war serves. The question is not who wins, but whose purposes are accomplished. Isaiah chapter 49, verse 8. I will guard you and employ you for a covenant pledge of the people, to become fixed in the earth, to cause to inherit by covenant the deserted heritages, that you may say to the prisoners, go out, to them that are in darkness, reveal yourselves. Isaiah chapter 65, verse 9. I will lead out a seed from Jacob, and out of Judah an inheritor of my mountains, and my chosen one will inherit by covenant it, and my slaves will live there. Luke chapter 18, verse 42. Receive your sight, your faith has saved you. The draw does not close on destruction. Jeremiah declares, I will bring back the captives of Elam. The final outcome includes the appointed season possibility of restoration for the people of Elam, even as the instruments of their military power are broken and their rulers removed. Philippians chapter 3, verse 21. Who will change our vile body, so that it may be fashioned like unto his glorious body, according to the working in which he is able even to subdue all things to himself. Hebrews chapter 12, verse 9. Shall we not much rather be in subjection to the Father of spirits, and live? 2 Corinthians chapter 13, verse 8. Because we can do nothing against the covenant truth, but for the truth. The final outcome of the Iran, Persia, and Elam war is this. The bow of Elam is broken. Its king is struck down and buried. Its princes are scattered and divided. Its military power is stripped, its armor taken, its spoils divided by the stronger one who comes upon it. All of this is accomplished not primarily by human armies, but by the sovereign decree of YHWH, who alone sets thrones and removes them. Yet even in judgment, the covenant purpose holds. A seed is preserved. Prisoners are called to go out. Those in darkness are called to reveal themselves. The faithful posture remains, covenant faithful, devout, Spirit-anointed, waiting for the consolation, not trusting in armies, not fearing the greatness of strength, but resting in the one who is able to subdue all things to himself. The verses drawn in this Shield 17.12 session were Luke chapter 2, verse 25, John chapter 3, verse 4, 1 Kings chapter 14, verse 15, 2 Samuel chapter 2, verse 1-2, Isaiah chapter 65, verse 9, Joshua chapter 17, verse 1. This concludes today's interpretation under the Shield.